Henry, I want to welcome you to Christian Perspectives. I thank you for taking time just to share with our guests some of the things that the Lord has shown you. And one in particular thing I wanted to ask you about was a vision or a dream, I'm not sure what it was, that you had in connection with President Trump. As we're at this kind of critical point in American history and things seem to be shifting a little bit with the Trump administration, and yet you had this dream, and I would love if you would share that with the listeners.
Yes, it was about 4:30 in the morning in March last year, year ago March, when Trump was running for office. And in my thoughts prior to that, my heart was settled. I was totally settled that I was going to vote for Ben Carson. That's the way it was, and as of that time. But I was praying for the United States because I didn't think that Ben Carson had a chance against Hillary or even Bernie Sanders. And so as I was praying, all of a sudden, I have this vision. Well, all of a sudden, one of my children come running in and said, Dad, there's a big black long car out, like a limousine, and some other black cars with it. And there's a man and a woman got out of this big car, and they're coming to the door. And so I head for the door and open the door, and here comes Donald Trump and his wife. And he's dressed from the neck down like a king, like the old kings. And his wife is carrying a shawl on her left arm that looks like gold tweed with big royal jewels in it. Beautiful jewels. Big, big jewels. And I said, well, Mr. Trump, what do we give this honor to, credit this honor to, that you would come to my house? And he says, oh, Henry, he says, never mind. We're family. This is a family visit. I've just come to see you. And I'm in awe. And I said, well, come on in. And I seat him, and he leans forward as he's seated. His wife stands at his left hand. And as he leans forward, she puts this shawl over his shoulders, and it drapes down the front of him. And then I can see it in its fullness, and it is royalty. I mean, here he is in a royal robe, and this royal shawl is draped down the front of him with big jewels. And he leans back then, and he's asking, well, how's the family, Henry? How are you doing? How are the children? And the whole visit was strictly family. It was astounding. I mean, he was asking about different children of my children and how are they doing. And we're into this visit, and then he says, he's leaned back against that shawl, and he throws the shawl back off his shoulders, and since he's leaning against it, it drapes over the back of the chair, the big armchair, like a comfort chair, a reclining chair. And he stands up and he says, I have got a lot to do. I'm going to be very busy, but he says, I'll be back. And so I go and open the door for him, tell him thank you for coming, and wow, I just appreciate you coming. And I look back and I see this shawl is draped over this big chair, and I realize he's forgot it, he's left it. And I run back, grab this shawl, and I run back to the door to say, hey, you forgot it. And away goes the limo, and I can't get anybody's attention. And I'm waving my arm and holding this shawl. It's heavy. It's real gold tweed-like and very heavy. And they don't come back. And I hear this voice behind me, and it says, he'll be back. And I thought, wow. Okay, and that was the end of the vision.